Well, what we're doing today is a proposal because of the serious situation that the economy is in and because the Labour government has brought the country's economy to the brink. Borrowing is up, but also borrowing costs are up at a 27-year high. Unemployment has been going up month on month. They already put taxes up, and it looks like taxes will go up again in the autumn in the budget. It's a very serious situation. It's not just economists saying that. It's also everybody I speak to, whether it's business leaders, it's literally people coming up to me in the street telling me how worried they are about the state of our economy. And one thing the government has got to do is get spending under control and start the country living within its means. And the place to start is the welfare budget. With sickness benefits going up to around 100 billion by the end of this decade, Keir Starmer has to get that under control. Now, he tried to do that before the summer recess, but he couldn't get savings past his backbenchers. In fact, he U-turned what was meant to be a savings plan, turned into spending more money. So I've been doing the work as Shadow Secretary of State on what he can do to make savings. And Kemi Badenoch has made an offer to the Prime Minister, to the Chancellor, that we will sit down with them and we will work with them on a savings plan to get welfare spending under control and to start showing that the country can reduce the amount that we spend and get the economy back on track.
I can understand a lot of that, but the framing of suggesting that Kemi Badenoch wants to, with a constructive tone, sit down to work with the government on welfare reform doesn't really fly, because you said he couldn't get welfare reform past his backbenchers. You could say he couldn't get it past Parliament, and the Conservatives could have supported his attempts and it would have got through. But you didn't. Well,
we offered to work with them back then. They didn't take us up on our offer then. He tried to get it through past his backbenchers, and in fact, it was clear that he couldn't. And we saw that dramatic moment, and quite unprecedented, in the Chamber of Parliament, when a minister literally stood up in the middle of somebody else speaking and did a U-turn and abandoned the cuts that they were trying to achieve, the savings that they were trying to make. So what was clear is he couldn't. We've had this whole reset and the reshuffle and a new Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, but it's still the same backbenchers and no sign that they're going to want to back savings. That's why we're offering to work with them.
All of that is true, and, you know, it was a crazy day in Parliament that day, no doubt about it. But you say you offered to work with them. Obviously, you voted against them. And you could have embraced what they put in front of you.
So what we voted against was because they pulled the legislation apart, and actually it turned into, from being a 5 billion savings proposal to being a 300 million spending
2 weeks prior to that, a week prior to that, your party was very clear they weren't going to support the plan that Labour put forward. And there is a point here that is, you know, maybe you would have wanted their welfare reform to go further. Maybe you would have wanted it to change around the edges. But you're in opposition, and you did have the chance to support a bill in the general area of welfare reform that would have reduced spending, and you didn't. So all I'm saying is, today, to frame it as we're the gracious ones willing to work with the government, feels a bit rich.
So we made an offer to them. As it happens, the plans they put forward, though they were going to save money, were not a good way of going about it. But we offered to work with them to bring down the welfare bill. As I said at the time, they didn't take us up on it. Now, one of the problems that Labour has got is they didn't make a plan when they were in opposition about what they were going to do about welfare. They came in and they did not have a plan for making savings. I've been doing the work as Shadow Secretary of State on what they should be doing, the things that they should be doing. So firstly, for instance, they should be stopping the misuse of the benefit system. Things like these claims for common mental health problems like anxiety and ADHD, that's got to stop. They've got to stop the abuse of the welfare system. They need to bring back the face-to-face assessment, stop this abuse of the Motability scheme where people are getting free cars for things like ADHD and tennis elbow. And they've got to make sure that it's the people who really need and deserve benefits who are the ones who get them, not, for instance, foreign nationals coming here to claim sickness benefits. I've set out those are some of the things that they need to do. They didn't have a plan. We do. We will work with them so that they can put some of these things into practice, get welfare spending under control, demonstrate, not least to the markets, that this government can actually make savings. That could help boost confidence in our country's economy, and that would help us achieve the growth that so badly the country needs. As I said, everybody I speak to is distraught about the state of the economy.
Just a final question on this, and we'll file this clip and we might play it back to you in weeks or months to come. But if Pat McFadden brings forward a plan that addresses even one of those 2 or 3 areas that you outlined, will you support it?
So we have said we will sit down with them and we will work out a savings plan.
It's not going to be precisely your plan.
I'm not going to say a blank sheet of paper. It's like whatever they say. But I said we will sit down with them and work out with them a plan that we can back to help them get savings past their backbenchers and through Parliament.
OK, well, in opposition, it's not your job to lead the framing of the legislation, so I doubt you'll get that privilege, but we shall see if the offer more broadly is genuine in the weeks ahead. Helen Whately, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.